Well, it's your friend Johnny again. Trying to avoid breaking my leg. I'm going to show you another little firearm, little Second Amendment equipment. Some of y'all know what this is. Others of you just think, oh, that's an assault gun. It's an assault rifle. It's black. It's got a weird handle on it, and it's got a bipod on the front. Wow. Looks dangerous, doesn't it? Looks mean. Actually, there's nothing in it as far as rounds of anything that blow up or anything. This is basically a chunk of iron right now. And pretty good, though, for self-defense. If you wielded something like this and beat on people, you'd be surprised how effective that can be. Ball bat would be cheaper and just as lethal, really. We won't talk about what the skull and cranium can withstand as far as getting beat on, but I got kind of tired of people picking on weapons based upon what their appearance happens to be. This is a semi-automatic gun. It'll only shoot if you pull a trigger. If you don't pull a trigger, it don't shoot. Same as about any other gun, really, if you think about it. Beyond that, this is very similar to our military firearms, but not identical in the fact that it doesn't have a fully auto setting on it, because that's considered to be illegal, except with certain very special licensure, which you can acquire, but it's very expensive to do. So without getting into that, your Second Amendment's sort of been infringed upon, and I think there's some reason in some of that, but like I said, the criminals aren't reasonable. The drug gangs and cartels, they don't pay a lick of attention to any of our laws. Neither do the Fast and Furious guys either, as far as that goes, but another story for another time. But in any case, let's just say that this is the much feared and slandered assault firearm. It's nothing but a firearm anyway. We do currently have the right to keep and bear this arm, should have always had. No thanks to Bill Clinton and the arms bans and all those types of things. But that's all unreasonable and stupid, because once again, the Second Amendment didn't say that we had the right to keep and bear certain very weak, harmless, or low technology arms. It said we had the right to keep and bear arms. Arms, of course, which would be appropriate to the purpose intended. And the reason for an arm is to defend yourself against threats. The bigger the threat, the bigger the arm needs to be. You don't go grizzly bear hunting with a .22, unless you're a whole lot better marksman than what I am. If you can hit him in the eyeball, you might get him at that. I don't know, but I don't want to find out the hard way. If your assailant, if the criminal, the bad guy, has got a firearm like this, you better have one like this. Just look to our law enforcement folks. All around the country, they've shifted from maybe 9mm pistols to probably 40 Smith & Wesson pistols. For those of you who wouldn't be as informed on that, that means they got a more powerful handgun, probably ballistically more potent than a .45 caliber, which is a military gun from years ago, in most people's opinion. Why did they do that? Because they're bad cops and they want to kill people? I don't think so. I think that our law enforcement people found out that the people they were coming up against had better guns than they did. They were losing, so they said, wow, let me think about this. Maybe we should get a better gun. You'll also find probably that most law enforcement personnel have something like this in that car, for the sake of defending themselves in a little bit longer range scenarios. And well, they should have fully automatics, in my opinion. And they may. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Here's what I do know. If it's good for the police, who aren't going to be there when you need them, it's good for you. And so this right here, I'd call it a minimum, not a maximum. This is really a minimum, because any real perpetrator who's serious about what he's doing is not going to limit himself to a single shot .22. Hello. He's going to go for the gusto. It's what they've done. This is the type of thing that happened at Columbine. They maxed out And, oh, I shouldn't have brought that argument up. Well, if those guns weren't even available, then Columbine couldn't have happened. That's kind of dumb, because Columbine could have happened with homemade, improvised explosives. Could have happened with all kinds of different techniques. They did choose firearms, and that's very unfortunate, but the truth is, the reason Columbine happened, not their motivation for it happening, but the reason why it was able to go to the extent that it was, is there wasn't another gun on the whole dang campus. Nobody had their Second Amendment rights being defended. Nobody had one of these in their locker, for crying out loud. Oh, well, that would be terrible. Well, I don't know, look back and think. Maybe if some good old boy had his gun in his locker, he could have shot them suckers before they killed all them people. Maybe a police officer on campus, armed adequately, could have took care of those killers. Just a thought. The only rational thought you can have. Because you're not going to prevent crazy criminals from arming themselves against you and killing folks. Hasn't been done yet. Whatever technologies they may use, a murdering, crazy, insane person is going to kill folks. We citizens, thank God for the Constitution. We're granted the right to keep and bear arms to protect ourselves. That's just a few thoughts on this right here.